As you begin to move forward in your career, one of the things you want to make sure that you do is you understand you. The better you understand yourself, the better you're going to know the type of job and career that's going to suit your personality type. For example, anyone that interviews here at Dave's office takes a DISC profile. They also go through heavy interviews because we want to make sure that we're getting the right person in the right role. It's better for everyone all the way around. The DISC profile is a simple test that will yield tremendous insight into how you process decisions, what your natural tendencies are. It'll help you understand you better and also help you understand others. For example, in the DISC profile, there are 4 different personality types. The D is decisive, the I is interactive, the S is stabilizing, and the C is cautious. You see, a D, the decisive, is a faster moving individual. They look at problems. They want to fix things. The I, the interactive, is a fun-loving person, but they're concerned about people. They want to make sure that everyone is having a good time. The S is stabilizing. They're focused on pace. They want to make sure that everything is progressing just fine. The C, the cautious, is focused on details. They love information. They want to make sure that processes and procedures are being followed. So as you begin to look at these 4 distinct personality styles, you want to understand which one are you? Where do you fit on this model? It's important to understand that because when you begin to know yourself, now you can begin to understand your own strengths and your weaknesses. Self-awareness is important. If you're only working for money, you're going to be miserable. You're not going to be happy. You want to find something that blends your skills, your abilities, your personality traits, your values, your dreams, and your passions. The key to being a successful person, it's all about relating with others. It's about understanding yourself, understanding how do other people tick? How can I communicate better with them? How can I relate better? If you can communicate and relate better with people, you're going to be more successful in your career. Go to foundationsu.com. Take a quiz to find out your DISC profile right now.
One of the things I spend a lot of my time doing is talking to people about this word awesome. And I'll say to them, what does an awesome life look like for you? What does an awesome career look like for you? What does an awesome path look like for you? And a lot of times the pushback I get from people is that they're just not awesome. Their industry isn't awesome. They don't believe deep down that they can be awesome too. And I always push back on that in my own way because the reality is we used to all believe we were awesome. Everybody felt that. And you know when you felt it? When you were a kid. Ask a kid what they want to be when they grow up. Ask a kid, hey, what do you want to do after school, after college? What's your dream? And nobody has a small dream. When you're a kid, you have big, wild dreams. You want to write a book. You want to be a doctor or a firefighter or be an astronaut. You want to go to the moon. Every kid has this big, awesome-sized dream. But along the way, they get smaller, don't they? They tend to shrink when you become an adult. They tend to get small and quiet and vanilla and gray. But sometimes you bump into a kid and they remind you that everybody can be awesome. And I'm reminded of this by my own kids. I have 2 daughters, and they're amazing and fun. And one night I overheard them talking in the bathroom. Now, normally, if they're in the bathroom together, there's a huge fight, and there's a toothbrush World War crisis incident. But this time, they weren't fighting. This time, they were actually talking about literature and books. And I heard my oldest daughter say something to my youngest daughter. She said, hey, did you know that the guy who wrote James and the Giant Peach also wrote The Twits? And there was awe in her voice. And her little sister, without missing a beat, responded, I know. He's got an amazing imagination, like me. Did you hear that phrase? Like me. Roald Dahl, who wrote those books, who also wrote Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, has been called the greatest storyteller in our generation. But to my youngest daughter, he's a peer. He's a contemporary. They're on the same level. He has an amazing imagination like she does. As a child, she believes that. She knows that's true. She knows that the world is wide open. There's so much possibility. But along the way, you start to lose that. And maybe that happens to you in high school. Maybe that happens to you as you get ready for college. People say to you, hey, what's your major? How will you ever turn that into a money-making major? And that's not to put pressure on your major, but I don't want you to go down the wrong path. I mean, there's college seniors I talk to, and they'll pull me aside after a speech, and they'll say, hey, my mom always told me I'd make a really great lawyer. And my dad always said that too, and teachers told me that too, and I felt this pressure, and I took all these classes, and now I've applied to law school, and the truth is I don't want to be a lawyer, but I've gone so far down that path, and I don't want that to happen to you. I don't want you to pick a safe major or an easy major. I want you to pick an awesome major, because I believe that you can be awesome. I believe you used to believe you were awesome. That's how my life was. When I was in the 3rd grade, I wrote a lot of bad poetry. And a teacher named Mrs. Harris at Doyon Elementary School in Ipswich, Massachusetts, laminated it. And she laminated it and she bound it with ribbon, and I felt like I was a published author. And that day, she put this tiny little spark in my heart that maybe someday I could be a writer. Maybe even though life got busy and I had to grow up and become an adult, I could be awesome again. You see, that's my hope for you, because I believe you used to be awesome. And I believe if you work hard and be focused and make the right choices, you can be awesome again. Sometimes when I talk to people, they'll say, I wish I was more inspired. If I was only inspired, then I would really change my life. Then I would really change this world. And they kind of wait for inspiration to find them like a pizza being delivered. As if maybe you can sit on your couch and one day the doorbell will ring and you'll walk there and there's your dream. It was delivered like a pizza. And they have all these words about what they're going to do. Someday I'll do this. What if? And there's full of words. Everybody's full of words. But here's the simple truth. Words don't change your life. Words don't change the world. Do you know what changes your life? Do you know what changes the world? Action. Actions always beat intentions. And that was my story for 10 years. I wish that this was me standing here telling you wise stories about the amazing life I've lived. But it's actually the opposite. A lot of the stories I tell you are because I got a bruise doing something a certain way, and I don't want you to get that bruise too. I'd love for you not to have that same scar I have. And so for 10 years, I sat in a cubicle, and I was full of words about someday I'll write a book. I'm going to write a book, and it'll be amazing. But do you know what I never did during that 10-year period? I never wrote. I never got up early to write. I never stayed late to write. I never researched. I never went to writing conferences. I didn't do anything associated with action. I just kind of thought the words would be enough to change my life. They weren't. They just flat out weren't. So as you look at your life, as you start to think, how do I change it? I want you to remember that. Action always beats intention. The things you do are always more powerful than the things you're going to do someday. So if you want to change your life, if you want to figure out your calling, if you really want to work on all the stuff we've talked about, be deliberate about creating a list of actions and then knocking them out one by one.
Staying positive, definitely, because I'm surrounded by a lot of negativity, and that's not something that I want to bring me down. I'd like to pursue my goals in life and not let things bring me down. I can tell people what to do. I'm pretty good at doing that.
Well, I work really good with little kids, so I want to work with little kids when I get older. So be like a pediatric dentist.
Helping people, solving people's problems.
Some people would say that I'm really good at sports. I got most athletic in my class, and a lot of people probably say I have really good looks.
I'm very persuasive. I'm a people person. I like to talk to people. I can be pretty animated. And I'm hardworking and dedicated.
I'm very relaxed. You know, today is such an uptight world, you know, go, 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 and kind of go with the flow. No drugs, though.
That I'm funny.
Definitely my determination. When I set out to do something, I don't stop until I get it done.